My name is Amy Allen. I'm with you. I want to restore the Republic, and I love Freedom.tv.
Franchi here. Welcome to this edition of the Reality Report on Freedom.tv. There's breaking news concerning progress on the attempts to audit the Federal Reserve, the G20 convening in London amidst heavy protesting, congressional roadblocks being put in place to obstruct the global currency, the criminalization of organic farmers, and the ever-expanding Tea Party movement. But first, a quick break. Chemical weapons. Welcome back to the Reality Report on Freedom.tv. The Fed is destroying the country. Is it time to pull the sheet back from the wizard? The Federal Reserve Transparency Act of 2009, recently introduced to Congress by Ron Paul, calls for an audit of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve and all of its banks to be completed by 2010. Since its illicit inception in 1913, the Federal Reserve has operated with zero oversight from the government, establishing monetary policy at will with no accountability to the people. The time is long overdue for this private banking cartel to be brought back under control, and the Fed Transparency Act is the first step in that process.
We're prohibited from auditing or getting any answers from the Fed, and yet they have more money and more control over our lives and your dollars and your future. They have control over the foreign policy and the domestic policy, and you don't have any right to know anything about it because I can't even get the information. It has to come about by the passage of legislation like this that demands that they are not independent and totally secret and that they can rule this country through the power of creating money. It's a monstrous fraud.
After auditing, the Comptroller General will have 90 days to submit the findings to every member of Congress. The bill is gaining momentum, and as of today, it has 55 co-sponsors. The number is growing every day. The Federal Reserve is running rampant through our country, purposely destroying the dollar. The true intentions and actions of the Fed bankers, the shadowy masters of our economy, need to be exposed to the American people. Now let's pull back that curtain. For more information, see campaignforliberty.com, voteronpaul.com, and ronpaul.com. Contact your representative at house.gov or call the Capitol switchboard at 877-857-6437 and tell them to support this legislation. Is it time to amend the Constitution to prevent the global currency Treasury Secretary Geitner has considered?
Chinese government proposal about a global currency? We're actually quite open to that suggestion. But you should think of it as rather evolutionary, building on the current architecture, rather than moving us to global monetary union.
Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann of Minnesota, member of the House Financial Services Committee, has introduced H.A. Res. 41, a proposal for constitutional amendment to prohibit the president from entering into a treaty or other international agreement that would provide for the United States to adopt legal tender issued by an entity other than the United States. As of today, there are 32 co-sponsors, and it is in committee. Campaign for Liberty blogger Rob Pepe writes, "This bill prohibits the immoral international elite banksters from jamming a global currency down our throats." SingleGlobalCurrency.org, a website originating in the United States and advocating the end of the U.S. dollar, conducted 4 polls to gauge public opinion on a global currency since their formation in 2003. The results of the Zogby polls and one web poll showed a majority percentage ranging from 59 to 66% opposed the idea. A constitutional amendment is no small order, but it would put an end to the discussion of the global currency being adopted in the United States. Do your part. Get on your congressman to co-sign H.J. Res. 41. We'll be right back with our report on the G20 protests, the modern Tea Party movement, and the new breed of criminals, organic farmers.
Are you sick and tired of getting deleted from MySpace or censored because you dared to post something about Infowars.com? Well, check out RestoreTheRepublic.net. Imagine a Facebook and MySpace all combined into one, but specifically targeted for patriots. That's what you'll find at restoretherepublic.net. So check it out.
Welcome back to the Reality Report. According to Jeffrey Smith of the Huffington Post, President Obama has a wonderful organic garden in the White House. And he animately opposes all genetically modified food to be served to his own family. Yet 2 bills await the House and Senate which threaten the most fundamental and sound of all human activities, the freedom to grow and produce our own food. That's right. Under House Resolution 875, deceptively titled the Food Safety Modernization Act of 2009, and the Senate version S-425, the Food Safety and Tracking Improvement Act, we the people will be found guilty as charged of deciding to have small farms and gardens, organic or otherwise.
I'm an organic gardener.
These bills place the food-producing activities of ordinary American families under the control of an ill-defined and an expensive bureaucracy. We the people need to make our voice heard and call on elected officials to express concern and vote no to the loss of yet another freedom. You can also go online and sign a petition at LeaveMyFoodAlone.com. President Obama, put your money where your mouth is and stay out of my backyard. Across the pond, provocateurs in London were found trying to cause a riot as thousands protested against the G20 meeting of international money changers and finance ministers. The bankers want to do everything they can to discredit legitimate peaceful protesters, especially as awareness of their lust for world government grows. This also provides the globalists with much needed pressure from below in a pincher-style takeover as an excuse to arrest activists and further limit civil liberties. Indeed, most of the media coverage of the riot contained images of violence. However, the damage amounted to a few dozen arrests and broken Bank of Scotland windows. When asked about her motivations, one protester said, "They've failed the world's poor." A band within the protest played a funeral march to symbolize the end of an economic system. So-called anarchists, presumably agent provocateurs, were involved in breaking the windows as police dressed in black tried to raise the temperature to a fight. Among the estimated 4,000 people, groups included anti-capitalist groups, climate change groups, 9/11 Truth, and anti-war groups. Pamphlets distributed prior to the riots encouraged confrontations and violence. Governments around the world have been caught using violence to provoke riots in peaceful protests. Amidst the protests, the G20 convened in London to discuss world policies and to synchronize efforts between nations. Members include the governors of central banks of the world, finance ministers, and political leaders. Agreements made during the meetings include President Obama's agreement with Chinese President Hu Jintao to intensify coordination and cooperation on global economic finance issues. British Prime Minister Brown, expressing some of his globalist desires, said, "We need a global New Deal, a grand bargain between the countries and continents of this world so that the world economy can not only recover, but so the banking system can be based on best principles." During the G20 meeting last November, a group called the Single Global Currency Association urged the G20 leaders to begin research for a global currency. According to Reuters, and an aide of Nicolas Sarkozy, global currency talks would not be on the agenda for this year's G20 summit. Of a new currency system, Russian President Medvedev said, "It is quite obvious that the existing currency system has not coped with the existing challenges." Fears of a dollar collapse were implied by Prime Minister Brown as he suggested an insurance policy for China and Russia, who have expressed concern about the dollar. Meanwhile, back here in the States, the Tea Party movement is picking up steam. Spontaneous mass gatherings of Americans are flooding the streets of major cities to protest actions of the out-of-control policies of the Fed, talk of global currencies, and socialization of the United States. The websites Reteaparty.com, NewAmericanTeaParty.com, TaxDayCoalition.com, ShowMeTheLaw.org, and TruthAttack.org are offering organizational and networking support for this movement. Truth Attack is offering free signs and flyers. Show Me the Law is presenting Republic Magazine and America Freedom to Fascism as tools to raise public awareness during the actions. Thousands of freedom-loving Americans showed up in Cincinnati, Orlando, Washington, D.C. Joseph Mail of Show Me the Law Action News reported 15,000 protesters participated in Fullerton, California. The next scheduled action dates are April 15th and April 25th at post offices, town squares, and Federal Reserve branches nationwide. This movement is gaining momentum with no signs of slowing down, and you need to visit these websites to get further involved. Keep in mind, if there was ever a time to watch out for a false flag terror attack, now would be the time, because along with it, full declaration of martial law and fear would grip the people, and all momentum would grind to a halt. unless you see through the shock and awe tactics of the New World Order and press through to freedom. This is the beginning of the next American Revolution that is long overdue. The economy is crumbling. World leaders are convening. Organic gardening is threatened. Spontaneous revolts are taking place worldwide. And now Americans are finally stepping up to the plate and remembering what it means to love the red, white, and blue. Please help spread the message of the free and independent media by posting, forwarding, and embedding this video on your favorite blogs and forums. For Reality Report on Freedom TV, I'm Gary Franchi. And remember, stop watching America and start living.